What's up everybody? We are over here at the Fixer Upper. We've officially got all of the demo done, all of the plumbing, everything behind the walls that needs to get done is done. So now we can move on to doing the drywall. First things first, I'm going to start hanging all of the drywall here on this ceiling. We're just using 4x8 1/2-inch drywall here to attach to the ceiling because that's what it was before. So we're just gonna replace it with that. It'll flow seamlessly with where that gap is in the ceiling right there. Since it's only me working over here today, I brought over the drywall lift because, you know, as strong as your boy is, I don't really feel like holding up a whole 4x8 piece of drywall to the ceiling and then trying to shoot it in with a screw gun because that's just not fun. So this thing will make life a lot easier. To get started, I want to go ahead and mark all of the joist placement for where we're going to be attaching the drywall with screws to the joist. We're 16 on center for the joist across here. So we'll go ahead and take this tape measure and measure out 16 inches along this piece of drywall right here. That way we can just go ahead, follow the line on the drywall and shoot into the joist. To do the marking, we're just gonna be using the tape measure as well as our T-square. This thing is 48 inches long, so what I can do is just put it right on top here. And once I have my mark from the tape measure, I can go ahead and draw the line across the whole piece of drywall. If you're doing any form of drywall work, you definitely want a T-square. Go ahead, pull our tape measure all the way down here, lock it in, measure 16 inches, 16. Now that we got our marks, take our T-square, make sure we're straight, and make our marks. And just like that, we have all of our joist locations now onto the piece of drywall, so we can go ahead and hang this. So for loading the piece of drywall onto this drywall lift, what we'll want to do is come behind here, flip this little latch down. That will allow us to rotate this forward. There's also these nice little arms that can adjust all the way out to 12 foot to hold a piece of 4x12 drywall, but since we got 4x8, I already have it set. So this is now in a good position. We have these legs down here that will help brace the drywall and hold it up. With loading a piece of drywall onto the lift, you'll actually want the finished side facing down, because once we go ahead and rotate this down and lift it up, we want the finished side facing down towards us. So let's go ahead and get this thing loaded. Now we'll want to go ahead and just roll this thing over into position. There we go. And to start raising this thing up, all we had to do is start rotating this handle down here, put this puppy up, and even if I let go, it keeps itself locked in place. We got this pretty high. There is one thing that I do want to point out here. So as you can see, I have some can lights up in here. Usually what you would do is take some measurements from the end of the piece of drywall out and get this squared away, make a little mark on the drywall, but I really don't feel like doing that. So I brought down the handy dandy laser level, and that's shooting a line for me right across where these can lights are at. That will tell me the position of those, and then I can just go ahead and use a roto zip and zip those things out. Let's go ahead and get this piece of drywall in place and screwed up. As you can see, I'm leaving a gap between the wall and this first joist right here. So I know that I had to run strips of drywall from this first joist over into the ceiling. The rest will be covered just fine. With the drywall now in place, we're gonna go ahead and use this D-wall screw gun. This thing sets the drywall screws just a little bit into the face of the drywall without going too deep or leaving it out too far. It makes mudding and everything a lot easier. To run it in, we are using these 1 5/8 inch screws. With the piece of drywall now hung and pretty secure, we can go ahead and drop down the lift and move it out of the way so I can run some additional screws up in here. With the drywall now secured to the ceiling, I need to go ahead and cut out the recessed light. We're following this laser line right here, and I know it's 38 inches out from here, pretty much in line with the one that's over there. What we're using to do this is just this DeWalt Roto Zip tool. These things are super easy to use. And just turn on the power here. We'll go ahead, plunge in, find the edge, bring it just to the outside of the recessed can, and then run around the recessed can and cut out that piece of drywall. Hopefully I don't butcher the crap out of this, but we'll see. Well, I didn't butcher the recessed can too bad, so that's nice. With that now done, we need to go ahead and rip down a piece of drywall. We went ahead, grabbed our measurement, put it here onto the drywall. So what you'll do to cut this piece of drywall, take your T-square, put it up against the piece of drywall, then take a utility knife, go ahead and cut down right along the T-square. The cut doesn't need to be super deep. You just really want to break the paper surface of the drywall. Then you can go ahead, take off the T-square, take this, snap it back, and then run your knife right in the middle of that cut. There we go. So with this piece now cut, we can go ahead, put it up on the drywall lift and get this thing in place. And now we can go ahead and repeat the process for the rest of the ceiling. As you can see, we have a lot of the main section already hung. Yes, you can notice some gaps in the drywall right there, along here, and I kind of butchered around that recess can right there. But that's what 90 minute is for. You can just go ahead and fill those in, pack it, and it'll be all good to go. So I'm not too worried about that. For this last section of the wall down here, this is only 43 inches wide. So we're gonna have to go ahead and rip down the pieces of drywall right here. You have this knob right here, so you can go ahead and adjust to different heights. So what we'll do is go ahead, set this down to 43 inches right there, tighten it down. Now it's good to go. We can place this up against a piece of drywall right here. We'll take our utility knife and then we can hold this tight up along the top, put our utility knife at the bottom, and go ahead and pull it across the piece of drywall. Just like that. We'll run the utility blade along the back real quick and cut it off. And just like that, we have a 43-inch piece of drywall. And there we go. We've got this whole entire side over here now hung for the ceiling. So I need to go ahead and start moving over to the second half of this downstairs bedroom. We are officially complete with hanging all the drywall on the ceiling for this downstairs bedroom. It's pretty darn hard just doing it as one person, but with the drywall lit and all the other tools, it was definitely doable. If at all possible, get another person to help you out, but it's really nice to have this officially done so we can come over here in the next couple of days. We can start working on mudding the ceiling, getting all these cracks filled in with some 90-minute to go ahead, get it all set. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to follow along with this project or any of the other cool ones that we have going on, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.